So you built your client's website in Element, but now they want to change headlines, add pages, swap out some images. Sounds easy, right? Well, let's see. I run a website design and development agency, and we built dozens of websites in Elementor. Today, I will walk you through the real editing experience from a client's perspective. What's easy, what breaks, what common things I've seen break, and where they will still likely need you as a developer, and how to help manage those expectations. This video is not to bash Elementor or any builder. All builders are fantastic tools for developers like us to help make clients' lives easy and then being able to edit their own web. So if you're a freelancer, agency owner, or even a client watching this, you'll know what to expect. So let's jump over to the example page. We've got an example template from Elementor built out here. We've got some background images, some text. We actually got a slideshow in the background here. We got buttons. This is even a loop element right here. So we got a loop grid going on the screen. So how easy is it for the client to manage all of this? If your client is comfortable in Google Docs or Canva, they'll be able to edit this. What can clients edit safely? They can edit Elementor's front-end text pretty easily. They can usually edit background images, links in buttons, and also images. That's typically the easiest thing for clients to edit. Like editing text here is super easy. Again, as a drag and drop tool, you can just click and drag anything in Elementor. I typically have this structure open in the top right there, which I drag there. It'll probably open as a pop-up. You can right click and open that as well. And that works if you've been in anything like Photoshop or video editing software. Those are just more or less layers that you can drag things around. So I typically have that open as well. As you can see, I can click a button, change this link here super easily, and whenever I'm finished, I can click publish. We talked about with clients not always knowing mobile responsiveness. You just want to make them aware that there is this toolbar at the top and that styling cascades down. So anything I do at the desktop level is going to cascade down, but you can change things at those different levels. So if I change something at tablet, that will go down to mobile, but if I change something at mobile, it won't go up. So it's a little bit of downhill skiing for you guys. Again, editing in Elementor can be pretty foolproof. It's just click and change. So if I want to change this image, just click on this image, go into the media library here, and let's choose a different image. Simply click select, and now that image has changed. As you may notice, something like this, where the image actually changes size, is again somewhere where you want it to be really cognizant when building in Elementor to make sure that all images are the same size. So what that may mean is you actually set a fixed height here for all of these images. Let's say they're 193. Let's make that about 400 pixels, 450 pixels, 25. That's close for now. And then what I would do is just set that to cover. Now, one thing to note is that all images then aren't always going to work in here. Pretty obvious that the image didn't work before either. So this makes it a little bit better that the image might work a little bit better. You want to be smart and empathetic as a developer when you are developing on how you actually set up these pages and how that they will be used. You need to account for them copy and pasting text in from Word and it carries over all the styling. You need to account for them uploading images that aren't the correct aspect ratio. You need to account for them dragging in their own heading widget or their own video just somewhere random and not knowing that it actually breaks the site and not knowing that, oh, these are in columns. So these are all things you need to account for and make it easier. Again, this is where going back to ACF Fields or something like that makes it much more foolproof because you fully lock that down for them. And also use things like Elementor Role Manager. We typically don't do that. We just give our clients free reign. We just typically give our clients free reign because it's much easier than locking them down and not letting them control things. Again, you just need to build things in ways that are intuitive and easy for them to manage as clients. Websites aren't what they do day to day, so we need to make it as easy as, let's say, something like Canva or editing Google Docs. It needs to be essentially foolproof for them to make the changes that they want. Where clients can get stuck is updating styling, making it match, keeping the spacing consistent, duplicating sections, creating new pages, maybe even just clicking the edit button rather than editing with Elementor. So what things can we do as developers in the development process to make things easier for them? Number one, making sure we add global styling. So using the actual site settings and theme builder to build out the page for them. So first, what I typically do is add the global fonts. I typically do it in this fashion. So H1, H2, text, maybe there's an accent. Maybe they have a couple different styles based on their branding and or a button. I might add that as a global font in here as well. Next, what I typically do is then go into typography and then connect the typography to those existing fonts that we have just selected. So body text is just going to be global text. Links are probably going to say the text, but we can change the color. Then we will go through H1, H2, and so on. So I will link H1 and H2 here. Why this is great is then clients can actually connect those to the global styling. We can also make sure that they are responsive as well, which is the number one thing that I think clients really struggle with when it comes to styling. Next, something you can do actually as a developer, especially if let's say you're building a blog post or a custom post type, is actually build in fields in ACF to make it very, very simple so that all they need to do is actually enter ACF fields to build a page. So for example, this loop grid here is this random post type, and if I want to add a new post type, I simply click add new, and now I just have a few fields that I fill out. And now that these will automatically populate to the front end, it makes my life as a client so much easier because all of that styling is done for me and I don't need to worry about anything. Now, a common question that comes up, or a common thing that we run into, is where will we build a custom post type with ACF fields or let them have full creative control? And that just means basically open it up to Elementor. 99% of the time, we try to lead toward these ACF fields and basically building out a database for them where they just enter fields, because controlling that styling can be much harder. So what that may mean for a page, let's say this post type is locations, and locations might have a bunch of different information. We want to create a very large template first that has the max amount of information and actually develop that page out completely and then tie it to ACF fields and then make those ACF fields dynamic. Then we'd use something like dynamic conditions here to actually conditionally make it so that whole sections or areas of that fully built page actually don't show if an ACF field is not filled out. That is generally the easiest way to do it. There are times when we give the client full creative control. Like let's say it's building out landing pages, and again, typically what we would do with that is build out an example page for them where they can just right click and duplicate whole sections and paste those over in the new pages, and then they just replace that content. Then what you can do actually from a management and handoff perspective, once you've built it in a proper way, is just training the client and managing those expectations of what you will do going forward and what they are in control of. Typically, we actually don't let the client even touch the back end of the website until the website is completely launched. Reason being is we don't need them in there messing with things as it is being built. It honestly just causes more headaches than it is worth. So what we will do is actually put together a handbook using a plugin like WP Help, which actually allows us to add documentation into the backend nearing the end of the build. What we will do in here is actually treat it like, let's say, a college course and build from the ground up. So we start with the website 101, that is what WordPress is, what Elementor is, and then we just go up further from there. Then we go into Elementor 102, and we talk about some of the things that should be easy for them to do that we already mentioned, like editing headers or changing images. Well, then we'll go into Elementor, like let's say 103, go through the more advanced features, let's say building a page, just talking about some of the global styling, that stuff that we just talked about already. Next, we will go through any custom post type, like I talked about. Let's say they are adding locations, like this random custom post type here. We will actually build one out for them in separate videos for each post type for them to reference. That plugin, WP Help, actually just lands right here in the top of their dashboard. So all of those videos, we typically use Loom for that, will live here in the backend, so they don't need to reference a separate handbook. They just log into the backend of the website and all of the videos are there for them. Once those videos are filmed and the website is launched, we will schedule a training with a client. We will walk through the same things that we go through in the videos with them, maybe in a little bit more succinct fashion. We have noticed from years of doing this and countless clients trained that those sessions maybe aren't always the most beneficial to the client. So depending on the client, it may be worth trying to not push for that training. And the only reason I'm saying this is most clients do want to be trained and they do want to know how their website's going to work. But in an hour-long session, let's say 45 minutes or even 30 minutes, where I'm just ranting at you, teaching you a bunch of little things about your website, you generally don't learn a lot. So what happens is they will go and try to add some things. So it may be worth just creating an example draft page for them, having them log in and actually change some stuff with you, change some of the stuff with you on that landing page, or add or leave, let's say, one blog post off or one location off, so they can actually go through and add it themselves so that they learn how to use it. Next, again, just really manage those expectations. Typically what we offer as an agency is 1 year after your website is built, we will fix anything that goes wrong in terms of bugs. So if anything breaks or anything crashes, we will actually just hop in and fix that. But anything from building pages or adding anything to the custom post types or anything along those lines, we typically do not fix. We actually will bill hourly for that unless we have a maintenance contract in place. We do typically offer maintenance contracts with a small hourly allotment. Those prices and hours that we offer change on the size of the client and their exact needs. So is it actually easy for clients to edit in Elementor? I would say it can be if a developer sets it up that way and your client is a little bit technically savvy. If they aren't very technical or aren't online a lot, I would say maybe be a little bit weary, but again, build it in a way where it's almost foolproof. Like if I'm just entering fields here and I just click publish and that's all I need to do, it's pretty hard to mess that up, and most people could figure out how to do that.